What's up, nation? Your boy Sly here, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. So, I thought I was done for the day in terms of videos. Like I said, the calm before the storm. Well, it turns out it's anything but, and I was definitely wrong. With a London event this morning and weapon news turning up all over the place, and then the Bungie podcast dropped, and on top of that, IGN then released a super small clip of Nessus. But if you slow that bad boy down, it's absolutely packed with information. So that's going to be my main focus right now, to show you all what I saw in the Nessus video. Now before we start that, let's go over some of the recent things that have popped up earlier today. Of course, if you want to check out the weapon video I talked about earlier, I'll have that in the description box below. Turns out intrinsic roles will indeed change, and we're gaining weapon shaders as well. Maybe even the chance to turn elements of our energy weapons into something else. So pretty good stuff right there, definitely worth a look. Also, in the Bungie podcast, they have confirmed a couple of things. Number one, the studio loves Chipotle, and Tuesday will still be a reset day. Hopefully, it'll be a bit earlier than 5 a.m. because it's getting pretty old going to bed at like 7, 8 a.m. and then missing out in the mornings and afternoons. It's just absolutely killing me. So, definitely have to do something about that. Not to even mention and talk about Xur, but anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is the Destiny trailer over on Facebook that popped up today. Bungie uploaded a new trailer for everyone to take a look at, and speculation has it that it's featuring a Solar Titan. Guys, I watched it, and I honestly think that it's just a Titan who's been hit by a firebolt grenade and is taking dot damage, or damage over time. You don't see any hammers, and while it could be, I'm not ruling out that, it's a completely changed subclass, they've been pretty strict about these last 3 subclasses, which I believe will be endgame content only. And you guys know Bungie and their endgame content, lips are pretty much sealed. So I personally wouldn't look that much further into it. Alright, so now let's get on to the most recent IGN video, which shows off a bit of Nessus. Now it's only like a minute long, if that. But again, it has tons of things to look at. Also, we get a crucial link to who Failsafe is. Now, you're going to hear Failsafe in the beta here in a few hours. She's an AI, but how she got here, who she really is, all of that is still pretty much unknown, but this video sheds some light. So at the start of the video, we see Guardians hovering around the start of an adventure called Deep Conversation, which is a scannable object out in the world. You will see these by the orange swords in the director. Once you scan these objects, the mission will start, and you will also see the rewards at the top left. Now, this reward you see here, like this green-looking stone thing, this is actually an upgrade point. It's used to further unlock your subclass abilities. Now, I couldn't find any footage on my PC, but if you look at other YouTuber videos from the reveal or even the E3 event, when someone rolled over the second skill tree, you would see that it needed that green stone-looking kind of icon as a required object to unlock it. So the open world is definitely crucial to fully unlocking your subclass. Now also notice that we're on a Sentinel Titan, and guys, I kind of have to eat my words here because he is totally using a magnetic grenade. Notice the icon on the bottom left, so I completely blew that one. So at least we know that the full upgrade path for the Sentinel Titan grenades now. We have magnetic, void wall, and disruptor grenade, so at least that's out of the way. Next, we see a few scenic shots of Nessus, as well as what looks like another area within a lost sector that we've seen from other IGN videos. Now that's nothing new here, but as we move forward, we see another adventure called Unbreakable. Notice that the Guardian here is on his or her Sparrow, and the task is to collect energy fonts. Also, on the far left side, you will see disruptor charges. Now, this kind of reminds me of the energy runs that we had to do in Patrol during the Taken King. Now, I don't know what disruptor charges are because it constantly sits at 0, but it could be a one-time pickup, or it could be several that we need to collect in order for it to be considered a large charge. In any case, we see some of the patrol areas in Nessus, and it looks pretty amazing so far, guys. Lots and lots of color and lots of scenic vistas. Alright, and next we see a hunter taking part in a public event, and these seem to be everywhere. In fact, here in a few you'll get to see the map, and just like before, these maps are absolutely loaded with things to do. And this is only one location. I don't know, guys. I think Destiny 2 is going to be absolutely packed with shit to do, and this doesn't even show the endgame content. So that's absolutely what's up. Anyways, we see a couple of different public event bosses. We see a servitor, something known as a despoiler captain, and proof that this is an adventure out in the open world because we actually run into a public event while doing an adventure here. So those extraction events will still be a part of Destiny 2. Next, we see again the magnetic grenade staring me in the face here at the bottom left, but we also see a symbol on the rock face in front of you. That symbol right there is of a lost sector. So I wonder if we actually have to find these out in the open world to actually gain access to them, or if the map will point out the direction. You'll see that here in a second, but I personally kind of like the idea of it staying hidden. Anyways, we also see a new type of energy weapon manufacturer in Destiny 2 named Viced. That's what they're holding right here. They have these futuristic looking weapons that I am very eager to try out, along with the Omelon auto rifle and the Omelon pulse rifle. Those three right there, I can't wait to see how they feel, what they sound like, and how they react as soon as I get my hands on them. So as we take a look at this Lost Sector path, we see again some more of the same area we've seen before. This little Vex, kind of cave. So this confirms that the video we saw a week ago was in fact inside a Lost Sector. And while we're at it, here could be one of the bosses inside of these sectors, Theodron. Now to me, it kind of looks like a Vault of Glass Praetorian in a way, but I'm not quite sure, not quite convinced that this is an end boss. I think this just might be like a gatekeeper, like a DPS check, a barrier to entry. If you can beat this guy, then you deserve to go on. If you can't, well, come back when you're better. Now, I don't know that for sure, but this definitely is not the boss that I imagine fighting at the end of these Lost Sectors, especially if they're endgame activities with Nightfall tiered rewards. So take that as you will, but that's just how I feel. Okay, so here is probably the best part of this video, guys, looking at the map of Nessus. Now, take a look at all these activities. They're hard to see, but there are also smaller landmarks throughout the map. We see what looks to be some kind of crosses scattered around in small white markings along with the Lost Sector markings as well. Now those are those really small white looking marks. I'm hoping you guys can see them just fine. In any case, I'm hoping they just point you in the right direction and that's not the exact location. Also, we see adventures with the orange icons everywhere, public events in blue, and notice the yellow lines that snake their way along the edges of the public event. That's kind of like a visual cue as to when it will arrive. The ones that are going on currently will have like a pulsing diamond around them, like you can see behind this mission here. Now, speaking of mission, we can plainly see Exodus Black thinking about death right here. Speak to Failsafe at the Exodus Black. Packages and rewards, well, that probably means that it's a story mission and the end reward will simply be given to you by an NPC at the end of the mission. But notice the wording here, guys, the Exodus Black. So since we know Failsafe is an AI and it's the Exodus Black, I think Exodus Black is a crashed ship and Failsafe is another rescued AI. Does that sound like Cortana at all? I don't know, but anyways, so far I'm impressed with all these activities, guys. And if you look at the very top right, notice how everything seems to kind of be blacked out. Maybe that's like a fog of war, you won't see what's there and beyond it until you actually travel there and it reveals itself. But guys, this gets me excited, man. Tons of things to do here. And something I had to come back and edit in. If we pause it right here, take a look at this adventure, Exodus Siege. The Fallen prepare to attack Failsafe's mainframe aboard the Exodus Black. So right there, we definitely know Exodus Black is some type of ship. Now, whether it's one from our history or another species, we don't know yet, but at least it does show us what kind of reward we will be getting and the fact that Failsafe is indeed on a ship. As the map ends, the last thing we take a look at here is another public event, and you can see the yellow line I talked about earlier. It almost made its way around the entire icon, so there's basically a minute left until it launches. So if you see a yellow line around a public event, you know that it will kick off within 4 minutes. Each straight side of the diamond is 1 minute long, so that's a good way to kind of tell the time without having to directly click on it to see what it's all about. But I do like the way they tell you what each of these activities will drop in terms of loot. But seeing a little bit of RNG in here is something that doesn't bother me in the least. Alright, so moving on, guys, we see a little snippet of how Destiny 2 will be introducing lore into the game itself. We see another one of those pre-Golden Age humans in the bulky spacesuits lying dead right here. Now, also notice at the top right, you'll see a ghost symbol that's spinning. This means there's a scannable object nearby, which is obviously the dead spaceman, but this is a great way to tell the story of who it is and why it's there. They did this in The Taken King, somewhat, but not to the extent I thought it was going to be. Learning stuff like this in-game is a great way to fill out dead zones between activities. Alright, so moving on, guys, here is something interesting. You see the purple icon on the left with objective complete on top of it. Now, right now, we're at Glade of the Echos, which if we go back to the map, we can see is at the bottom of Nessus. I'm assuming it's where that big ball-looking thing is, because I think Glade of Echos looks like it's a big ship thruster or something like that. Now, it doesn't show too much here, but it does give you a sense of size. if this vista we see here fits into the ball-looking thing on that map, just that small little section, you know, not the entire Glade of the Echos, just the furthest part, then it shows you how big this place really is. And that means it's pretty freaking huge. And guys, we're only 30 seconds into this video. I told you there was a bunch of things packed in here. But in any case, that's really all I wanted to point out. The rest is just more public events, differing styles, and a few enemies that we've seen before. The only thing left that I wanted to show you all is this. We see another major here named Primus Kalog, anyways, and another green triangle on the left-hand side. But instead of it being Disruptor, like we've seen with the Collect Large Energy font, this one is Combination Blow, and it has a countdown timer. I wonder if these are actually in-game challenges. Remember back in the day when you did patrol, if you depleted a single area, your ghost would get these random question marks and you'd have to complete certain activities to fill them out. It could be like, you know, enemies killed, chests looted, dancing, headshots, melee kills, just stuff like that. Well, I wonder if these here are sort of challenges. Maybe you have to disrupt an enemy attack with a disruptor grenade, or here you have to use a combination attack with your fire team. Of course, complete speculation on my part, but they seem to only appear during these adventures. Of course, we'll have to wait and see, and we will know more later. In any case, that's it, y'all. Just a quick run-through of all the things worth noting in the recent IGN Tealer. The full Nessus Preview comes out on July 24th, so expect a complete rundown when that uploads. But until then, guys, we are just 10 hours away until the beta. So stoked, and as always, thank you for supporting the channel. I'll keep you all informed and up to date if anything else comes through in terms of news of excitement, so keep it here for everything Destiny 2 related. As always, you can find me on Twitter or Facebook, Sly Nation Gaming, and keep those eyes peeled for much more content here in the very near future. But until next time, this is your boy Sly. See you guys.